in for my husband. His name is James Bozek. We live here in Homewood. My husband is a disabled veteran. He also served as a military police officer, and then after that we met each other, got married, and he was a police officer in the surrounding towns. One day he was coming home from, and I don't want to cry during this video, but so one day he's coming home from work at midnight, and he got hit from behind. A car hit him from behind, and he kept having headaches. So we went to the doctor, and they said he has a brain tumor in the middle of his head, and it was right in the middle of the head, so they've never seen it before, and they couldn't figure out what kind of tumor it was. So we went to about a dozen doctors all over the country. Nobody has seen a tumor in the middle of the head before, so they weren't quite sure how to get it out. So we went to the Mayo Clinic. They said the same thing, that they've never seen anything like that. And so they recommended surgery in where we live here in this area, so that Jim would have, after the traumatic brain surgery, he'll need family for support. So he had the brain surgery. They couldn't take the tumor out. It was entwined in his brain too much. So after that, they did gamma knife radiation, which means they put bolts, nail bolts in his front and back parts of his head, and they radiated it. And then after that, he lost his memory totally. So my little boy was about 7, and he helped at the time. He was helping his dad regain his memory, and the doctors didn't know if he'd ever regain his memory. He does have his memory back, thank goodness, but he does have short-term memory loss, and along with that, a lot of health problems. I'm a full-time caregiver to my husband now, and we have the same cars we had when it was diagnosed, and it's an old van. It's like over 15 years old. It's not reliable, it has no heat, it needs repairs, and half the time I can't get him to the doctor for his treatments. So I have to ask him, I'm sorry. So I ask, my family's doesn't live here, they live in Arkansas. And so I do ask neighbors and people for help. And my husband didn't even know I'm doing this, because he's a proud guy and he's so happy. Even to this day, you would not know anything's wrong with him. He's always a happy, positive guy, and the vehicle would save his life, because the treatments he needs are 3 times a week. And he has a blood disorder that makes his blood real thick, so if it's too thick, he can die and bleed in the brain and not know it. The tumor can just bleed and not know it. So if I don't get these treatments, several times I couldn't make it to the doctor, so he had to take an ambulance, and the Homewood Fire Police Department had to literally take him to the doctor to get his treatments. So the vehicle would be such a help to our family, and Jim, we really would appreciate any help like that. And he also, has a lot of medical problems. The blood disorder, he had strokes and blood clots, and his memory loss that we're working on, and his weak limbs and arms, and he was just diagnosed 6 months ago with a rare eye disease in both eyes, and it will cause blindness, and that's something that we're seeing a specialist currently that deals with doing that type of surgery, and they would have to literally take his eyeballs out in order to do the surgery. So that's something we're working on now, but he's positive, he's happy, and a vehicle will change his life. And that's, thank you very much.